Get it?
Ooh. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the IGL podcast, I should say. The best way to spend a Tuesday. Cookie, we're missing somebody tonight, man. What's going on?
Yeah, we're missing Reap. Man's a little bit under the weather. It definitely happens in our country about now because it goes from extremely fucking hot to extremely fucking cold.
Last week I was wearing a t-shirt, this week I'm wearing a jumper. It's just how it goes, though.
I said that I've had a beanie for the past 4 weeks.
So. You want to swing him a message, actually? Just see what he's doing, man?
Oh, true. He did ask us.
We need somebody watching this shit. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the IGL podcast. It's good to be back, man. I wish Reaper could be here with us, but we got a big week. Had a big weekend, man. A lot of games actually went exactly how I expected them to, except for a couple. We'll get into it soon. But Cookie, how's your week been, bro?
It's been good. Pretty quiet. I went and saw D&D over the weekend, the movie.
Yep. Some of us seen good movies, some of us seen D&D.
I'll say is glad it wasn't a full price ticket.
Yeah, true.
It was good. Don't get me wrong. It was a good movie, but I wouldn't have paid any more than I did for the ticket.
I actually went and seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh.
It was. I would actually say it's phenomenal. I would say it's a really, really good film. I'm not quite sure. Like maybe I just was a bit overwhelmed. It was
in the second one.
Hey, it was super emotional. I'm not gonna lie. It was quite an emotional film. Not what I expected.
Was it an ending?
To a trilogy of movies, for sure. It was a good ending too. It was very fitting. Didn't unnecessarily get I wouldn't say unnecessarily didn't do anything unnecessarily, but it ended it well. That's what I'm going to go with.
No, that's good. The big thing for me is when they try to rush endings. Did they do that?
No, man.
They didn't send anything important or anything like that.
I feel like they let all the characters have their moment in the sun and then wrapped up the film.
That's good.
Big love, Reed. Big love.
That's a good way to do it.
But yeah, that was about it, man. We had some sick burgers as well. That was some top burgers that night, bro.
Your old joint?
Sorry?
Your old joint?
No. In Sawtell, there's a little burger joint. It's fucking phenomenal, man. Seriously, it's good.
Where's that at?
It's called the Village Takeaway, maybe. It's in the middle of town. It's where I think a butchery used to be there. I think just down from the Japanese shop.
Strip.
Yeah, the main strip. The main strip is Sawtell. But it was phenomenal because the cinema there is actually it's peak, bro. I don't know if you've been there.
I go to that cinema.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
I lived at the uni. Don't forget.
Sorry?
I lived at the uni. Don't forget for a couple of years.
Yeah,
so we'd go to Saudi over going into Coles.
Well, it's not even as cheaper. Just the cinema is it's like state of the art, man. It's like the sound system.
A little bit quieter as well.
Yeah, sound system and everything's so good. It wasn't packed. It was the second day the movie had been out and it wasn't packed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was awesome. The only thing that holds it back is no drink holders, but those little paddles you sit your drinks on, they're big enough, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to take a seat up.
The good thing about the cinemas down here is no matter how cheap the ticket is, I paid $11 for the ticket down here to go for D&D because it was cheaper. And we still got into a cinema that had reclining seats.
Oh, reclining seats, nice.
Every cinema down here, no matter which one you go into, has reclining seats, which is nice.
I must live in Coffs Harbour. I think that's like luxury.
Yeah. I was like that for the first couple of moves I went to down here. I'm like, fuck, this is luxury. Especially someone that's like 6'2". I've got fucking cramped behind other seats in front of me.
Man is big. But let's get into the CDL this week, man. I might pull my pick'ems up. I totally forgot to get them before. But big action this week, man. I didn't get to catch all the games. Happens some weeks. Can't always get all the games. But
for sure.
How'd your pick'ems go this week, Cook?
First day, I completely fucking whiffed. And missed. I will say I would have went 3 from 3. I'm pretty sure I said 3 from 3. I'm pretty sure I said phase, optic, and ultra. In saying that, I definitely did not pick Legion to go force a game 5 and arguably should have beat optic. I personally think they choked that game 5 surge.
Yeah.
Phase dominated Gorillas, shock, and ultra pretty much dominated surge.
Yeah, look, I picked the Gorillas Atlanta game. No one predicted that. The fact that Vegas could take Optic to Game 5 was pretty shocking to me, especially after that major performance. Maybe they're onliners. And Toronto, I didn't expect them to come out so dominantly, but there might be something behind the whole Pred, Seattle, going to Australia kind of thing. There might be something to do with that.
Yeah,
that
Did you watch the doco on Pred that came out? You know, he's got his series.
I've been meaning to. Did he have a bid for accuracy?
Oh no, that was all for fun and games.
Oh, that was for fun. All right, cool.
Yeah, he had I wouldn't say coming together, but exchange of words with Sib.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in regards to the round 11 game 5 phase game.
Okay.
But outside of that, it didn't seem. Granted, that is still 2 majors ago. That's not the most recent major. Nothing really seemed too much out of place because like they came out and went 4-1 online last time. But I think for that, it's hard to judge on Surge at least for this week because Ultra showed up this week.
Yeah.
Like we'll get to their second game soon, but they played phenomenally well against Surge. They played phenomenally well all weekend.
Yeah.
I really thought Kleenex has picked up his game a lot. I will say in their second game, I think the team that they versed, there was a bit of an outlier on the enemy team in that game itself. I know you're not going to like me saying it when we get to it, but there was one poor performer in that game, which I think Ultra really took advantage of when they played him.
Well, let's not fuck about then. Let's get straight to it. Yeah, Kenny was woeful. I hate saying it. I really do. It fucking pisses me off.
He wasn't great all weekend. Even the second game as well. He didn't do well.
Yeah, I sent a sick meme. It was like I can't wait to take this out on Optic. Like he just I don't know what it is, man. It seems like he's just not built for online or something. Maybe I don't know, man. But he just hasn't been looking good.
I know LA, which never helps much either.
Plus the versing two of the. Let's be real. The versing two of the at least top 6 teams in the league, man. Like. I would say 2 of the teams that are at least, have a chance of winning champs. Online, the Thieves are never good. Never that great apart from the last stage. But there's no excuse for Kenny's performance, honestly. I don't think he's positive all weekend, man. And I bet he feels it, man. I get so frustrated seeing him yawn on fucking camera, man. I get so frustrated by it. It happened the last time they lost as well. What was I going to say? This wasn't. I don't think this was major
Kenny was the only one that went negative in the subliners game.
Yeah.
He dropped a 0.71. Everybody else on the team went positive.
Yeah. It just hurts to me.
Arguably fully costed him in that one.
It hurts to see him doing that, bro. Honestly, it really does hurt to see him doing that.
And I think he dropped a 0.8 or something in the other one as well.
Yeah. Look, Kenny's my boy. Everybody knows that, bro. I love him. I love watching him play. I wanted to see more out of him, especially in both the series, honestly. And keep fucking this stream up, bro. It's fantastic. But otherwise, man, the rest of there's big news on the same day. We didn't talk about yet, mate. So Minnesota Rocker had another LAN stage. They got to play games on LAN. They obviously
we all know what my opinion is on this LAN shit.
So, Rocker went over London. It was easy. Probably easier than I predicted it to be, So, Vegas.
I gave London at least one map.
It was interesting to see Vegas go over New York, I'm not going to lie. But then we went back to Minnesota playing 2 games in the same day, which is pretty fucking cheeks if you ask me. But the big drama to come out of that was Boston refused to turn off the sound equalizer. What are your thoughts about sound equalization at the LAN, man?
At LAN, it's hard because you do get a lot of background noise anyway. But in saying that, I mean, you know my opinion on sound EQ. I don't like it in the game no matter what. But I can also guarantee you that even though the Rocker has complained about this, as soon as Boston said that they weren't turning it on off, you know that they would have turned it on if they didn't have it on as well.
So you think it's fair?
I don't think it's fair, but I think Rocker wouldn't have sat by and done nothing.
Yeah, I look, I agree. It just
You can't deny it, especially after the shit that they did with the SAE earlier in the season.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, but I just don't think we should be like even protecting the fact, or like even saying it's okay. Like it's okay that they did that because of this.
It's okay. It needs to be just flat out banned.
Because they blamed the management. I think Boston came out and said their management told them to use it. They only had it they're only told an hour before the game they weren't allowed to use it, and the fact that we're letting people slide on sound EQ or some kind of because I don't know, you haven't played Rank recently, but man, the cunts are using it left, right, and center, man. Like they use it all the time. You can tell because S&D, right? You'll be hearing the kill cam, right? And you'll run up a certain spot and you'll be so far away, but they'll just they'll be looking this way and snap right to you straight away. And it's like, oh, okay, you heard me because you got sound EQ on and you can hear me from literally across this other side of the map, you know? It's ridiculous. So I just don't think there's any defense for using sound EQ.
No.
You shouldn't be practicing with it in the first place.
Obviously know how to stop it working in-game if they've been able to in previous iterations. It wasn't a thing in Vanguard. I think the last time they said that it was actually part of the game was in Cold War.
Yeah, I think they said... in my opinion, from what I understand, is that teams have known about it since Cold War. This is the only year it started to get. This is the only year it really started to get abused. And I think it's just the snaking and stuff. If we don't stop it now, it's over.
Yeah.
Reaper actually,
everybody just uses it.
Reaper actually makes a good point in the comments here. He said, I think it's a PC thing, though. You can have sound EQ on console. He's not wrong. You can I don't know if it's certain headset applications on consoles actually let you use sound equalization on them.
The A50, the Astro A50 sound fucking thing that you sit on your desk have something along those lines?
No, it's actually, I think Razer has certain applications for accessories, because I know I used to have a Razer on Xbox. I used to have a Razer application for my Xbox.
Okay. I didn't have for Xbox.
Yeah, to modify settings, and I'm pretty sure it works the same for headsets. You can go on there, and I'm pretty sure there's applications you can use to get a sound EQ setting on consoles, which is nuts.
Okay. Yeah.
The thing about COD is, man, look, I'm not even going to lie.
That's one of the big differences of it to say CS or Valorant is because it's such a faster paced game. Footsteps are never huge in it. You'd hear them if they were getting close, but not from the other side of the map. It's not CS, it's not Valorant where you're supposed to be able to hear the footsteps like that. Two very different types of games, and if it starts becoming footsteps wise, the S&D is going to start becoming like CS.
I honestly think that there's one thing that can fix it. The Infinity Ward just refused to put in the game, and that's Ninja as a perk. And look, Ninja as a perk would fix literally all these issues, especially for search and destroy, and even hardpoint and stuff to a certain extent. I think with Sound EQ Cheese, we'd see a lot more Ninja usage. But Infinity Ward clearly has a strong, reason to not have any Ninja in the game, and
it'll be interesting to see what the next one.
We'll see what Sledgehammer does. Honestly, we'll see what Sledgehammer does. But let's move on. Let's move on from Sound EQ bullshit.
I just also want to pull out. Kenny had a .68 against Toronto.
Had to keep going, didn't you? Yeah, I had to keep going.
I had to.
Mate, Pred has one negative series. I'll never let you forget, bro. I'll never let you forget. Okay.
That's fine, but I can guarantee it's not a .68.
Yeah. All right. So Florida went over LAG.
Well, I think he did go negative in the Surge Ultra game. To be fair.
Florida went over LAG. Not what I expected personally, but it's the Burger Bowl.
No, I think I picked the same as you on that one. Yeah, I did. I picked. Oh no, sorry, I picked Gorillas 3-1.
Yeah, true. There you go. So, maybe given a bit too much. Maybe I think we see more. I mean, me and you personally probably can agree we see a bit more out of this LAG team going forward in the future than we do see out of the Florida team.
We said it. We said it last week. If they shut down Joe Deceives, they'll win, and they shut down Joe Deceives.
Yeah.
Joe Deceives went negative, and they win. Simple as that. Also, I just want to say I perfectly picked the Breach Rocker game 3-1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I expected Rocker to go up just because of that land buff, to be honest. That was just me, yeah.
It's Rocker. I knew they wouldn't have been able to go 4-4.
But and they were just hungry to get the top 8. You know what I mean? I mean, Breach is hungry too. They don't want to drop out, but they're outside favourites are getting bottom 4.
For me, the big thing with Breach was having the new sub duo. I just personally thought Cramp, Vivid work off each other. Their play styles work off each other a lot nicer than Cramp and Nero. And I think it showed a bit in that as well, that there might not have been as much impact by the subs, but like in the slaying department, but they maneuvered around the map a lot nicer.
Look, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, I just don't see them being that much better than the previous duo or even the duo before that.
The slaying power hasn't gone up for me at all. If anything, it's probably gone down a little bit. It's just their macro players gone up a lot better.
Yeah, Reaper brings up a good point about how Rocker's only 10 points above Breach, and I honestly, I see the fight between Vegas and Rocker. I don't really say, I think Breach is kind of out of the question at this point. I just don't see Breach having that bad of a stage, and now Vegas has got over a huge hurdle. They lost to Optic, alright, fair, but they've got over a huge hurdle beating New York. Something that my team couldn't do, unfortunately.
I really didn't pick that one. I went New York 3-1. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I went New York 3-2.
Vegas looked good in that game, though.
Yeah,
to be fair,
they did. They looked really good.
They were clutch.
But are they going to go back to LAN? Are they going to go back to LAN and just flop?
That's a big, that's big. I think between the three of them, the most consistent until the end of the year, or till the end of this major, I think will be Breach. And the three of those.
Yeah. That's why my money is.
You got more consistency on the Breach. Legion and Rocket, they can rock up to anything and go fucking. They could go 0-3 for the next fucking 2 weekends and then drop out top 12 with those two teams. You don't know.
100%.
Breach, they might drop out top 12, but that's only if they get a bad draw.
Yeah.
But they'll still get points online.
But they could, theoretically, they could drop out of the LAN. But we've got to wait and see for that. We're not up to that yet, unfortunately, mate. This is going to be a big next 2 weekends. So, Optic beat FaZe 3-0. I picked it to be a 3-0. I didn't expect it to be that dominant, though. This was the fucking DoorDash challenge of the day, man.
Yeah. I picked it, and I knew it was going to be fucking one-sided, because I said they got a mental block. I don't know what it is about FaZe. They just can't match up against Optic.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
did you see the fucking stats in this game?
Yeah, I'll bring them up now, or you can start reading them out.
So, Simp dropped a .64. He had 37 kills over the series. That is the lowest in the match. Slasher had a .78. Celium even went negative at a .86. Dashy was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. 100%
Even and Hook, both Dash and Hook were fucking nuts.
It's nuts to see Simp dropping these kind of kills. Yeah, it's nuts to see Simp dropping like almost double negatives.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Like, I don't think we've ever seen this
Ken's was bad and it was bad, but Simp's was even worse.
Yeah, but Simp isn't expected to drop these numbers. Like, Kenny doing it's like, shit, we know Kenny can do better, but we've seen him also put these numbers up. We haven't seen this from Simp. It might be, hopefully not for LAN FaZe. I love them when they're competitive because it gives us something to root against, but...
That's it. Like, we enjoy giving shit to FaZe, but we also don't like seeing them bad because... They don't play the villain well, but they play being played the villain well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they don't even need to try to be the villains to be the villains.
That's it. They don't need to try to be the villains. Everybody just dislikes them anyway. And when they do good, it's even, it shows up even more.
100%. And then obviously we talked about it a bunch. Thieves went down to New York, and look, a tough series for Thieves, man. Like, that LSELO, man... New York took over. They absolutely took over. I don't know what happened in that map 5, but the Thieves had all the momentum and they just fell in a hole.
Yeah.
Fuck, they cannot lose
LSELO's search is normally one of their best.
Yeah. They can't lose a fucking control at the moment, though, man. They're looking real good. I would say still the best looking team.
They're also controlling the Ultra.
I would still say they're the best looking control team in the game right now. I still think so.
Personally. I think they got absolutely smashed in the control for the Ultra Thieves.
But
that was Hotel.
Oh, okay. Well,
it was LCLO 3-2.
Yeah, okay. Well,
never mind. Scrap that.
Yeah, so they didn't get flogged, but I still think they're looking like the best control team.
It was also Scrap dropped to 1.6.
Yeah, so
32 and 20.
Look, they just look so dominant. That I thought they were coming. I thought they were coming with the reverse sweep after I seen that control.
Yeah.
The hardpoint didn't even look that dominant, but by the end, those last 2 hills they chained together were dominant, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna roll into the game 5." I waited all day to watch that game, man. I watched the first 2 at work, periodically throughout the day, and I got home to watch the whole Thieves series. Not spoiled at all. I didn't see a hack grab thumbnail. I didn't see a fucking Reddit post. And I got home, sat down, fucking got my snacks, got all snuggled up, bro, and they fucking lost. It was fantastic. Glad I waited all day for that. But Kenny yet again dropping fucking donuts. I was really disappointed, man. I was really disappointed to see the Thieves, man. After I gave him the biggest rap for the last 2 weeks, and that's on me, man. That's on me. Fuck, man. I really didn't expect them.
Right there is fucking fun.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. I just really didn't expect the Thieves. They shouldn't.
You look at those right there. You look at those stats. Can you just scroll down to the games for me real quick?
Yeah. What do I say? I don't know what happened on these search and destroys.
Even with the stats, you can't be like, Kenny really costed you guys? Because, I mean, you guys won the Fortress hardpoint, you won the control. The first hardpoint wasn't even close.
This was so dominant.
Yeah. Like, he even dropped negative there. But, like, there was nothing that was close that Kenny maybe doing a little bit better would have changed.
Yeah. Look, I still think we see him turn up on LAN. I think that's his element, but I just it's just disappointing to see how the Thieves. They're my fucking team, you know. And I just don't. I don't know if it's just they've come off slow or this is a sign of their trajectory. Like they're on the down now. That's a question mark.
Curse.
It's a question mark. So
every team that has won a major this season has then done shit the next major.
I would say that, right? But we didn't see it last year. This is the only team I would expect to beat that curse, man. But if I know one team that's going to be working hard,
FaZe would be a team that would beat it, which they basically have. Like the worst they've gone like top 4.
Yeah, I know, but also like they never won a whole major last year. And they had a shit series after they won this year. So, Cold War, I don't think we're including Cold War in that count because they were literally unstoppable that year. So,
yeah, no, Cold War phase is just different.
It was different. Still, Octane knocked them out, baby.
True.
But, look, we need to see a bit of Thieves going into next week. We'll scroll down to the games next week. Look, Thieves have an easy run from here on out. That's probably going to bode well for them. I can see them easily going 3-2 for the rest of this. They've
only got the one game next week.
There's going to be some big matches though next week.
Is that an early Sunday morning for you there?
Yeah, 6:30.
That's early enough for you to get on watch.
Yeah, I can get up and watch that. Not that I want to, man. I'll just come watch that later, bro. If the Thieves lose that game, bro, I'm losing faith. Nah, I'm check. I'd never lose faith in my boys.
Don't do it, Reap.
I'll never lose faith in my boys, brother. But some interesting games happening next week.
It is.
Yeah.
So one nice easy double points game.
Yeah. We got Boston, Florida.
The other one's a banger of a match, though.
A lot of bangers this week, man. With Vegas's trajectory, I can't wait to see that match at the end of day one. I'll be up for this one 100%, man.
Yeah.
Vegas
Legion.
Vegas
FaZe.
Well, Vegas Legion are looking really good right now, man. They just took out New York. So I'm keen to see what they can do this week. They got the next game in Minnesota. That's going to be a fucking grudge match, man. Against Minnesota. So if they can go 2 this week, man, they're looking really fucking good, man. I can see that.
Especially if they beat Rocker. Like, that puts a whole lot of pressure on Rocker.
100%. And look, it's going to be a tight race. I don't think it's going to be like New York last year where they have a miracle run. One of these teams is just going to edge out the other one, but
yeah,
we just got to wait and see, man. We just got to wait and see.
Burger Bowl first up.
Yeah.
Get the shit one out of the way.
Yeah, get the shit one out of the way. Boston, Florida, fucking, I'll put 3-1 Boston. Florida will pull out an arse, round out their arse, I guarantee it.
I've done mine for next week because I had to make sure.
All right, well, fuck it, I'll do it right now. Fuck, it's right here, Ray. I'm gonna go. This first match is gonna be a series, and you know it, bro. But I'm gonna give it to LAG. I just think Royal Ravens are just a bit too. I just think Royal Ravens are a bit too dysfunctional right now. At least we don't see LAG fighting on fucking Twitter. So, at the very least, I'm going to stick with my 3-1 here.
Can't argue with that.
You just know Florida is going to pull a fucking round out of their ass. That's what they fucking do. Just quickly going to check the chat to see if Reap has been talking. I also love you, Reap, by the way. I'm going to say Vegas doesn't do it, but I know I'm going to end up eating my fucking words here. I know it, and I want to. Okay?
Interesting.
That's a 3-0. I'm going to say that Florida, for some reason, takes Thieves to a 3 for a game 5, okay? I honestly don't think about. If prove me wrong, Florida. Prove me wrong, okay?
Prove you wrong, Florida. Prove you wrong, Thieves.
No, I said that Florida will take them to a game 5, but prove me wrong.
I think I found out why the Thieves played bad last weekend.
Why's that?
So I got 100T on Twitter. I follow them on Twitter and Instagram and that. A couple of their head honchos, a few, actually half 100T's management group, were at a certain event, and I reckon the COD boys were a little bit jealous of the Miami F1, and they were fucking living.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? Stop practicing and go to the Miami F1?
Yes, that's why they were getting door-dashed. They didn't really get door-dashed, but I reckon
they're just like they're a month off champs, man.
I think also because Nate Shot wasn't there.
Mate,
he wasn't in their ear. They didn't have an Nate Shot in the ear.
Let's be real. If Los Angeles wins champs back to back, man, Nate Shot's gonna take a mess on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm not listening to Cookie.
He comes in pre-game. He gives him a fucking rousing speech.
No, he doesn't do that. He said that. Like. He said he doesn't do that. He said he doesn't do that. He says he catches up with them when he can.
He says a lot of shit. He also said that 100T was not going to buy into the CDL, and look what happened.
A spot opened up, and Nate Shot's friend gave him a spot. Are you kidding me?
No, even in the off season beforehand, he was saying he wasn't jumping in.
We all knew he was jumping in as soon as Infinite sold their spot.
But what I'm saying is that he said that he wasn't.
As soon as Infinite sold their spot, I knew he was getting in this shit. Anyway, okay.
So you got them boosts as well. You should boost FaZe Ravens. Just so Ravens win, because last time you boosted, they lost.
Solid pick right there. I'm gonna say Optic over Seattle 3-0. I don't see Seattle doing anything this major. Maybe they make a run at champs, but I just think there's some underlying shit that we're not seeing. That is boiling behind the scenes at Seattle Surge.
The vetoes against Ultra are a little bit funky as well.
When haven't their vetoes been funky this year, Cookie?
They've gotten worse in the last two majors, so I'm wondering if they think they're more than likely being safe, so maybe they're playing with vetoes a little bit.
Like, it's weird to see them picking maps at all, man, to be honest. All year, all fucking year.
They seem to be picking the team that they're versing's best maps.
Yeah.
They picked fucking Hotel Control against Ultra.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what Optics is doing. Optics has been doing that to FaZe. Optics has been doing that to Vegas, and they took it to them, bro. Look, Vegas gave them a run, but they did beat them on their best maps. One of their best maps.
So they gave Ultra fucking, I think, 2 or 3 hotel maps in that series.
Yeah.
You just don't play Ultra on hotel.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Look, I want to walk back my statement about Florida. I'm going to go 3-1. They always pull a map out. I am going to just move on from the New York, Los Angeles. I don't think there's a chance for Los Angeles. I do want to boost it, but I just think Los Angeles could squeeze a map out. They could.
Okay.
It's not FaZe Ravens. You know what I mean? It's not top versus bottom. You know what I'm saying? They could squeeze a map out.
FaZe are definitely not top.
Well, they're the top of the standing. They are the top of the ladder, and I'm pretty sure London is the bottom of the ladder, if I'm not. Or is it LAG?
Ooh.
You can pull that up in the meantime. All right, the grudge match of Modern Warfare 2, Minnesota versus Vegas. Look, I don't see Rocket winning this. I'm going to go Vegas.
Is still bottom.
Oh, sweet. So I was right. So you're telling me I was right. Cookie, say, hey, Ben, you were right.
I'm not saying that, but go on.
Was I right, though?
Go on.
Vegas is going to beat Rocker 3-0, and it's going to be convincing, bro. They're going to be in their head, bro. They're going to be in their head, okay? Now, Optic versus Toronto. This is a double points match, and a lot of people are going to be picking Optic. Let's see what that is. I'm gonna go Toronto. I'm gonna go Toronto 3-2. Okay. All right, it's going to be tight. It's going to be close, and Scrappy is going to be screaming at the end, okay? But they are going to pip him at the post. They're going to get him out because Optic is going to be trying to play Toronto's maps, okay? To get that up, and Toronto will get him because of that, okay? Not saying Optic's bad at all, okay? I'm sorry, they're clear favorites again. Again, bro, already.
Off the 80 to 20.
Off the break, yeah. So I'm gonna say Toronto 3-2s on the double points, bro. On the double points. That might be good points for me, brother.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say Boston and Seattle goes to a game 5 as well. We're having some bang outs at the end, bro. So
it's always on a Monday the banging matches.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say just for the story, just for that bottom 3 story of the table, I'm gonna say Seattle beats Boston.
Ooh, okay.
Make it a bit spicy, you know. Get it a bit spicy, Cook.
It's spicy, meatballs.
Yeah, and that's my picks for the week, Cook. You want to go with yours?
Yeah, sure. I'll put mine up.
Pop them up, bro.
That one. That was one of them. Okay, so I myself have gone a little bit spicy right off the get-go. I think Ravens win 3-1 over Gorillas.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just battle the Burger Bowls, and you don't know who could turn up in this game. To be fair,
100%.
I did the same for you for Breach Muniz. I think Muniz will pull out one, but I think Breach will be just too strong on the majority of them.
Yeah.
I went the exact same. I think you picked FaZe 3-0. I've actually got Legion winning 3-1.
I picked FaZe 3-2, but yes.
I think Legion are on the uptake, FaZe are on the downtake. I think the mental on FaZe, I know we say it every time, but the mental seems to be getting worse. Like, I don't think it's completely and utterly chalked, but I think it is starting to get worse.
Okay.
And Legion is starting to look a lot better, and for the storyline, I just hope Legion beats FaZe.
Okay.
I've got FaZe 3-0ing Ravens though, because they'll completely and utterly get reset. Then their mental will be all good. I got Thieves 3-0ing Mutineers. I can't even see Mutineers getting a map in that one. I got Optic 3-1ing Surge. I think Surge might be able to pull a map out. If it goes like an LSELO control, I think Surge definitely have a chance of pulling out the control. Because they're LSELO, not Search, sorry, LSELO. Well, actually, LSELO, Search, or Control. They're pretty decent on LSELO. I got Subliners 3-0ing Gorillas. I have boosted the Ravens FaZe as well, and then the Subliners Gorillas game. I've got Legion 3-1ing Rocker, pretty much same reason as you for that one. I got Optic 3-1ing Ultra. I think the big thing that Ultra's really had over most teams is their AR, and it's going to be a fucking battle of the ARs in this game.
They could shut down Ghosty theoretically, though. They could. Just got to beat Dashy then.
That's the issue.
Yeah, that is the issue. I mean, I put it on Scrap to do that. I could put it on Scrap to do that.
Sure, I think Dashy will bring down Scrap. That's why I've got Optic beating Ultra. I think it will come down to the ARs, and I've got Dashy ahead of Scrappy currently.
I mean, in the sub duo, Kleenex has to go off.
Yeah, I think for Ultra to win, even if I think they can still win if Scrap gets shut down, because even if Scrap gets shut down, I still feel like Dashy won't go like pop off numbers he did against FaZe. I think you'll have to have one of the subs that absolutely take over. Hixie's been looking pretty good actually recently in the first week as well. Like Hixie had some big plays.
Hixie, bro, Hixie's looking good, man. He's looking really good.
Yeah, in the Surge series, I thought he was more impactful than Kleenex.
Yeah, no, bro. Against the Thieves, bro, I was like, who is this Hixie cunt? Why keep killing Kenny, bro?
he put his big brother on.
Yeah.
And then I've got Surge Game 5 against Breach as well.
Okay.
In that one.
Fair enough.
So.
Yeah, I don't see it going any other way. I think they're going to be a Game 5, that one especially.
Banging match, which I'll be watching on the way to work.
So I've just got a post, man. It's just a Reddit post, but I'm gonna start talking about it anyway.
While we're doing like pick'ems and all that, do we want to do fantasy?
I've already done my fantasy.
No, but just like show how we went first week.
Oh fuck, I probably chalked. I'm probably chalked. But anyway,
you did better than mine.
Yeah, well, let me pull it up real quick. But this is a little post about FaZe's respawn. It's in trouble, and this guy doesn't think it's going to improve very much. He's like, so the post goes, I posted FaZe's hardpoint win rates a few weeks ago. These are their up-to-date stats for hardpoint, including online and LAN. So Major 1, it was 10-8. 55% win rate. Positive. That's positive win rate. That's over half.
Good start.
Yeah. So Major 2, it was 6 and 9 and a 40% win rate. That was when they won a major. So the S&D was supreme. Let's be real.
15 and 0 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. They're probably nuts. Major 3, 6 and 9, 40% win rate again. And not enough to get them over the line, as we've seen. And Major 4, they had a...
That was also with Major 3, that also goes in hand with their search starting to slip.
I think more other teams starting to catch up. Major 4, they went 7 and 11, which is a 39% win rate. There's a clear regression. They haven't been able to fix it. Their controls also are below average. FaZe are at a 43% win rate since Major 2. But let's look at FaZe against the top 8, which in champs is what matters. This is a good point. So against the top 8 since Major 2, they're 9 and 18 in hard points, a 33% win rate, and they're 4 and 12 in control since Major 2, a 25% win rate.
Damn! Vanguard, they were like one of the best control teams in the game.
Yeah, 100%. FaZe is 0 and 5 in the last 5 control games against top 8 teams.
Okay, so top 8 currently is, just as reference, so for Optic, Thieves, Ultra, Subliners, Surge, Breach, Rocker is top 8.
Yeah.
Now I know a couple of the losses came to Surge because both times they versed Surge. Sorry, not true.
Yep. The major, the stage 4 was the 3-0.
Yep, the 3-0, and then they won their control Major 3 because they started the reverse sweep that way. They've been smoked by Optic the last few times. They got basically smoked by Thieves and smoked by Ultra. Yeah, the teams around them is just smoking them.
So what's the solution for the FaZe team?
Don't have Slash on your team. He's not a good respawn
So
player.
actually, this is exactly what I want you to bring up. So this guy's solution is actually pretty good, man. He says FaZe needs a faster AR player who's a playmaker, actually moves on the map rather than just solely relying on a BZ to make the plays.
That's fair.
FaZe's biggest issue is hard points. Since they haven't figured it out by Major 5, it's like highly unlikely they'll figure it out by champs without a team change. If they don't make a change, they're just kind of honestly resigning themselves to 3rd or 4th of champs. Which this is a really good post by DNA.
Maybe not even 3rd or 4th.
I could
possibly even more.
I think they're that good. Honestly, I really do think they're talent heavy.
With that percentage, there's very high chance they could go around lower.
Yeah.
They could go around top 6 champs.
Yeah, they could. There's a percentage, man, for sure. Because I right now you could probably put Ultra and Subliners above them, probably. I would say right now after the first weekend, man, after seeing all these teams play, it'd probably go Optic, Thieves, or Toronto.
I think I'd go Optic, Ultra.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
I think I'd put Ultra over Thieves. I mean, they beat them.
I honestly think you can't just because Thieves have been so poor online forever for the longest fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going off like last weekend anyway. After last weekend, recency bias, you go Optic.
Would you put Subliners over him then?
Over Thieves?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to because they beat Thieves.
Yeah, but they got lost to Vegas as well.
So it goes Optic, Vegas.
We'll see after they verse FaZe this week. We'll see after they verse FaZe, bro. So
I mean, all I'm hearing is, actually, no, Vegas is 9th, so they're technically not top 8.
My other thing, this was super cope too. This was super copium. But do you think that the Thieves could be trying to play without sound EQ to get ready for LAN?
I think you're pulling at straws on that.
That's what I mean. It's cope. It's super cope. Yeah. It's super cope. I was breaking down on the couch, bro. I was crying to myself, and I was like, "No, they couldn't. They're not using sound EQ. I know it."
Oh, were you gonna say that about FaZe as well?
Nah, FaZe is chalk, bro. So did you see the breakdown team of the week?
I didn't. I've yet to watch that episode.
All right. So the breakdown team of the week was Dashy,
Fair,
Hook,
Okay,
Scrap,
Fair,
and TJ Halley. Now, the breakdown is officially the ops of this podcast. Scump and methods are not welcome on the IGL podcast. I can't even do that, bro. TJ, though. TJ, do you reckon he had a weekend, man?
I don't remember him doing much.
Really? Because even a superior TJ hater like myself has to say TJ had a standout weekend for TJ Haley.
I mean, for TJ Haley, all he's got to do is go positive, and it's a standout weekend for TJ
Against
Haley.
the subliners, though, against Hydra and Kismet, the sub duo, he had a 1.1. And that, against them, is pretty... Kismet had a 0.8, mind you. But I think against that team and those caliber of SMGs, TJ Haley really showed he can actually mess with top SMGs. I think that's seriously good work from him, man. I got to give it to the breakdown. That's a great call from them. TJ, I hate saying it, had a really good weekend, man.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing it next weekend or the weekend after, man. But if this team wants to be a team that makes a run chance,
you look at who they've versed. It is fair because they've versed Optic and then they versed New York. So they versed two high quality teams and two high quality SMG duos, and he did go positive in both, and significantly positive against New York. But yeah, I mean, fair. I probably would have done Hook and Abizi because the way FaZe played over the weekend, Abizi was still a standout in that team.
Yep, I agree. But how many times can you have Abizi on the list, man? And this is an Optic-focused podcast, so...
I tend to agree, but for him to be able to drop a 1.1 against Optic, getting... Like, they got fucking smoked, and he still dropped a 1.1.
Yeah.
Like, that's very fucking good. And I had all these stats up earlier, actually. Where's the other one? And he absolutely fucking destroyed Gorillas.
Alright, I just seen why Kenny's been performing so bad. I know why. I realised new Star Wars game just dropped, bro. He'll be back next week. Bro. He's been up late playing Jedi Fallen Order.
Star Wars game's been around for a couple of weeks now.
He's been trying to get his 4090 cracking, man. He's been trying his hardest, man. The frame rates are fucking him. That's it. That was it. Actually, not cope. This is not cope, bro. This is seriously... no, but actually, I've been seeing a lot of good posts on the Reddit lately. I think when it comes to champs, we just start to get a lot more really good posts. I think this is something that we've been talking about on this podcast a lot. Should teams stick it out for longer rather than splitting up? This is a great thing for Boston, personally, in my opinion. I feel like if they kept running it with their team, I know Krebs an incredible player. He's incredible, don't get me wrong. But at the tail end of the season, man, I think honestly teams should start thinking about working together and trying to fix what they got there. We've seen it work with, I keep saying we've seen it work with Thieves last year, but they had a team behind them that was...
Even like last year, you look at the top four last year, it was Thieves, who did Thieves verse? Thieves, FaZe.
Yep. Both teams have stuck it out all year.
Surge. They got third. They stuck it out all year.
Yep.
And fourth was Optic.
Yeah. They only had to switch because Healy had an injury. So I would say stuck it out all year mostly.
Yeah.
But is that a test?
Teams, like, especially like you look at Thieves, you look at Surge. They were teams that placed top 12. Fuck, Surge went out top 20 at the fucking Pro-Am. Like, they got beat by a fucking AM team and then came back and get third at champs.
Yeah. Look, I think teams should start thinking about sticking together for longer. I feel like they're too busy they just want to throw players out than try and work it out. And I know not every team's going to work like that, but I feel like the teams that need to make a change don't. Don't make the right choices.
Yeah.
Where the teams
some teams are limited in like resources.
Yeah, Paris and stuff, yeah.
Paris, Vegas, you look at London, they can't go out and buy like a fucking Hydra level player.
But LAG before the whole...
When you think about it, Legion could have had the sub-duo of Hydra and Pred. That was rumored to be prior to Vanguard, or it might have been Cold War, prior to Cold War. The rumored sub-duo of the Paris Legion was Pred and Hydra.
Do you reckon you really could have those two players on the same team, though?
Who cares?
It'd be talent heavy. It'd be talent stacked, yeah.
Like, the fact that Paris could have had those two players, you know how much profit they would have made from those two?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think teams like Boston, though, probably should have thought about sticking it out, especially after the Beans change.
a few
Methods
more
had
resources.
to go, right? He wanted to go, right? That was a forced change. Like Illy, he had to retire. He couldn't play anymore.
Forced also by like, let's be honest, since I'm a Methods fan myself, not the way he plays, just his character.
Yeah, he's a great. Look, since the Chef Tony Ultra video, I've been a Methods fan.
That's fair. I used to watch a lot of his GTA RP with
Zuma. That shit was
That shit was funny as fuck.
So funny.
But I always thought he was good for content, but I didn't think he was much of a. Like, it's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's just the current games don't suit him because he's that very slow style.
Yeah.
And especially when you look at the Boston team, he had two pretty slow ARs because Awakening's not exactly the fastest AR either. And then he had fucking two of the fastest SMGs. It was just a really oddly put together team.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to go back. I know I'm just keep changing topics, but I think it's a conversation we keep having until pretty much next year when the teams get reformed, right? Where do you think Pred lands? At this current stage where we're at, where do you think Pred's going to land?
It's hard because Simp came out and said that even if they were to pick up another superstar SMG, he would not go to the flex role. He came out and said that himself. Which throws...
in my opinion right now, I think the weakest link on FaZe is Simp.
I agree.
I think I would pick Slasher over him right now, bro.
Him doing the Scum, the opposite of a Scum, sorry. Scum went from AR to SMG, don't forget. When he started in Modern Warfare 2, he was an AR player.
Yeah.
The Scum was. I could see Simp going to doing like an older Scum where he went, like the last major Scum went SMG to AR.
Yeah.
I could see that. That gives a little bit of a pace to their AR. Like Simp's, he's quicker than fucking Slasher or Celium anyway.
Yeah. You just need to take Slasher out and move him up to a AR. I just don't know why Simp wouldn't want to.
I think I'd keep Cell.
I would keep
Slasher.
I would keep Simp over Slasher and move if Simp wanted to move up to an AR role.
Yeah. Like I'd definitely try it. Like as Simp, if he doesn't like it, he'd have fucking offers at his feet.
Yeah. I don't think it's a question. It'd have to be Simp.
FaZe is like the only place I can think of. Optic looks too good right now to make a change.
I don't see Thieves moving any players, regardless of how they place for the rest of the year. I just think that team is too solidified as a four.
The only reason I could possibly see Thieves making a change is if they win champs.
Yeah,
that's back-to-back champs. Maybe because Kenny and Octane, they're not exactly like young. Like they might want to start looking at doing stuff outside of COD. Like I know Octane's really big in his content.
Yeah.
And I know Kenny's made for content. Man's a fucking character on camera.
I think he just needs to. Yeah, I think he just needs to get off the games more. Like it's like COD is what I'm talking about. Like But this is the thing. I think with
could you imagine Kenny, Courage, and fucking Nadeshot doing something together in real life? That shit would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. Kenny seems like a vibe, man.
Yeah. And so do the other two, and they all know each other for years. But they've got the courage and nature, so fucking imagine adding Kenny to that.
Yeah, I don't see where Pred can go at this current point apart from FaZe. Even off the Optic train. I think Optic stays together. They look so good, man. Honestly, and if this COD's going to be like next year's COD, if they're going to be similar, then I don't see why it would. I don't see why you would pick up a different player, honestly, depending on... This is the thing, though. Do these teams get to... Is a $25 million league allow you to see the game early as a team owner? Does it allow you to get input on the game?
Yeah, most of them are part of the development.
Yeah,
they were this year.
Well, they didn't do a fucking good job, man. They didn't have much say, is what I got to say.
Maps, red dots... There's one thing about having a say. There's another thing about actually being listened to.
Fair enough. All right, this is my next thing I'm going to bring up. Now, I'm just going to keep throwing shit at you, Cookie. We're going to keep it rolling. No repeated bounce off today. So, do you think Gunless is an underrated player? Let me list off some stats.
Yes.
6-time champion. Not world, just champion. 4-time tournament MVP. 8 finals appearances. So he's 6 from 8, right? In finals appearances. Most kills in an S&D map.
75%.
Most kills in an S&D map in a grand final all time.
What's that number?
18 kills in an S&D. That's huge. That's fucking huge. Only player to drop a 50 bomb in grand final since Advanced Warfare. 5th highest overall KD in grand finals. It's only a 1.08, but still 5th overall. So hearing all those stats, you already said yes, but
yeah, I said yes. Well, I didn't even need to hear the stats.
Why don't you think he has a spot?
Character.
Okay. Elaborate.
From the rumors that you hear, like when he was on Chicago, even when he was on Guerrillas a little bit, his character apparently. Now, I've never been a player with him, anything like that.
Wait, you haven't played with Gunless before? I have. I have. Love Gunless, bro. That's my guy, bro.
I would have loved to. But from what I gather, he's a very hard person to deal with as a teammate.
Okay.
Is what I've heard. Now, he's also been the scapegoat for a lot of teams as well. And I think that comes down to the character part of it. Is the other three are like, well, you're the one that we don't really want to deal with. We're going to put all the blame on you. But then he got dropped originally because he was quite sick, stomach. And he was off, I believe he had an operation last year.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's back competing. Which is good. I hope he gets a place. He deserves a place.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd love to see him come back. And
he's too good of a
I
player.
always thought he was a fucking phenomenal player.
Yeah. Now, what would you say is the best CDL era match you have ever seen? Give me a top 3 if you need to.
I mean, it's hard to go past the best of 9 reverse.
Exactly, that was number 2 for me. There's number 3 actually. Number 3 to me personally.
I'm gonna say number 1 for you is Thieves winning Worlds.
Of course.
Yeah, shock.
What do you want me to say? I'm a fucking stan.
I'm going to also say number 2 for you would be Chicago beating IGL in Modern Warfare 2019.
Number 2, yes, that's number 2.
Yeah, I just guessed your top 3 off the get-go. That's fucking good.
Well, what about you, bro? What about you?
I think just in sheer storyline, you got to go the best of 9 reverse sweep. That thing was never before going to happen.
It never happened again. It will never happen again.
It never will happen again.
Never will happen again.
Shit was fucking insane.
Dude, we turned it off. I only watched half that series, and it's the best series I've ever seen.
I watched 6 out of the 9 maps because I saw it go to 4, and then I turned it off.
Yeah.
And when I loaded up YouTube again back later in the day, and it was still going. Like, what the fuck is this? An award ceremony or something? Turned it back on. I was like, map 9, 4.
No, I turned it back on. I turned it back on halfway through the 6th map. That's why I turned it back on because I was like, oh, this is fucking over, and then turned back on. I was like, oh, dude, Rocker's showing some promise here.
Yeah.
Could not believe my mind. Could not believe it,
Outside of that,
it's Thieves winning champs, bro. It's okay, just say it. Just say it.
I'd probably almost actually say Surge beating Optic to make top 3 last year. Just because of how much Pred went off in that game. Like, Aussie Pride. Pred popped off in that Optic game last season.
Yeah.
And it really... Outside of that, I think it's really 60 biased because I remember a lot from the Vanguard season, more so than the older seasons. But Surge beating FaZe on that fucking ridiculous hardpoint comeback where on Tuscan, and then they ended up winning the series in Game 5 after that. That shit was fucking nutty as well.
Yeah, look, that was a huge series, honestly.
Honestly, most Surge FaZe series is a fucking bangers.
They're good. They're good.
I'm trying to think of anything from Cold War.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything from Cold War because I
mean, if we're going off map, the search where Optic lined up in round 11.
Yeah, that was that was nutty.
You know what? Yeah, right.
Where's Rebay? I think a big Cold War game, actually, now I'm thinking about it, was Seattle FaZe. Losers final, was it Major 4? 5? Major 5?
Cold War.
Yeah, so, like, Seattle was the absolute outside. Like, they were like, the bottom of the barrel, and they ended up taking out FaZe to win that game. I think it was 3-1.
That was, like, the last major. They couldn't qualify for champs, and they just went on a fucking run. Yeah. They didn't give a rat's ass.
They absolutely just took over, honestly. So, That was a sick series to win because of how dominant FaZe was. It was nuts to see Seattle beating them. So that was a sick series. Cold War. Well, we talked about going to the Cold War series. That best of 9 reverse is a Cold War series, but I think it's hard to say about Cold War series because of how dominant FaZe were. Most of the best games to watch were Toronto FaZe. Most of them were
some of the Toronto Optic games are pretty good as well.
I'd even say that that first grand final Major 1 with Toronto. FaZe versus Empire was really good. Really good series. Hook was throwing down, bro. So
there was a good Florida series as well. Neptune absolutely popped off in the series. It made it really, really close. I'm pretty sure it was Florida, New York, because it was Neptune v Hydra, and both of them, it was basically a 1v1 with 3 bots on each team. It was just purely and solely SMG.
Yeah.
And it was a good series. But I can't remember exactly which one that was.
What about this year? What about the best games you've seen this year?
Ooh.
I still think... Go on.
The round 11, game 5 FaZe Surge run where Simp got the hipfire kill, Major 3. That was a ridiculous series because of just how close it was being from an absolute fucking whitewash 3-0. And the only way Surge won it was by just absolutely fucking bolting to the point of having everybody jump on it once to stop them capping it to make it a 3-0 in control. And then after that, they almost fully reverted. They almost did a Thieves from Black Ops 4. Like, it was so close to being a Thieves from Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
And Pred went fucking insane, the searches. He dropped 16 for a round 11 loss against fucking FaZe. Like, 16 kills in a fucking search against FaZe.
Yeah.
That was while they're at their peak as well.
I think a big series from this year was that FaZe... Optic game. Illy was still on the team, and they had that back and forth on that last hotel hill where it was like FaZe was on it, Optic was on it, FaZe was on it, and Optic ended up closing it out. I think they actually changed like 6 times in like a matter of like 10 seconds, man. It was so nuts. That ending was fucking crazy, man. I wouldn't want to cast that. I wouldn't want to cast that, bro. Anything else coming on?
One from left field, Optic beating London Optic Major. Okay. London put up a fight. No one expected that. Expected just a smoke fest from Optic. Ghosty do that 1v2 clutch, which shouldn't have happened. Like, he should have fucking killed, and Optic would have been out of the tournament. Because it was 4-5, I think, to London in the second search. It was a game 5 that Optic win. So for London to win that map, they would have won the series.
Yeah. And
then Optic would have been out. They ended up coming back and winning Major after that.
Yeah, it's been a good year of CDO, honestly, so far. It's not even over yet, which is good. We've seen a lot of teams win, which is always interesting.
I said it a few weeks ago. This is the game where I've liked the least amount to play it, but I've enjoyed, in the most recent years anyway, the most to watch it.
I think it's just this game's so flippy. It's so like anyone can win it any day. At all the CODs, which makes it entertaining.
And it's a very far. Like, there's so many engagements in the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, it's watching fucking 5 games of Bocage last year.
All right, one last thing before we end off the pod, man. I think I've been just throwing enough at you. This one came out earlier in the week. I think just after our podcast, of course. All the good stuff for the CDL comes out just after our podcast, bro. So, Activision had I think it was an actual official meeting with all their investors and stuff, and they said this in the meeting. I'll read it verbatim. So this is from Activision's mouth itself. Our collaborative arrangements for our professional esports leagues, i.e. the Overwatch League and the Call of Duty League, continue to face headwinds, which are negatively impacting the operations and potentially the longevity of these leagues under the current business model. We continue to work to address these challenges, which could result in significant costs, and such efforts may prove unsuccessful. Now, could you break that down?
Basically, they're losing money at a pace faster than what they thought.
Yep. Even with the $25 million buy-ins.
Even with the $25 million buy-ins, which times 12, you're looking at about 300K. 300 mil, of a buy-in. Now, it's not like they've really got a pay for places either because all the stages have been done online. Go figure.
Yeah,
So
and the
they'd
teams
save
pay
you
for the
money there.
venues as well. So another thing.
Yep. It'd be interesting to see how the books for CDL how it's done because I reckon there's some people in this organization that's getting paid way too fucking much.
Way exorbitant. Yeah, exorbitant. Exorbitant.
And I'd also be interested to know how much money is going to Activision itself.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of criticism of the league as well because I was watching Hex and Skull, a clip of Hex and Scump talking about it. Now Hex didn't say a lot. He basically did their "I told you so." But basically what they said is what they were promised when the CDL dropped. Not much of it has happened.
Yeah.
So originally what was going to happen was very similar to 2019 where there was going to be a home series in every city. Now there has been some cities that have never got an event in the 4 years.
Yeah.
You look at Seattle, Florida. I know those two, just off the top of my head, have not had any events. Now, Seattle's won a major. I don't think Florida has.
Yeah, they've won a major. Oh, they haven't won a major. They've won something though.
They won a homestead.
Homestead, yeah. Homestage, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Whereas other teams, for instance, Boston, this is their first year. They've already had a major.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No.
I mean, it does. It makes a little bit of sense when they're launching a new team. So like, let's put something in the new city for the new team, build them a support base. But instead of that, Paris never had a major, which is a little bit understandable because they had no money. And also in Europe with COVID, we'll say COVID's impacted it significantly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could have kept doing that, but they decided not to. So that's on them, really.
Yeah, they definitely could have brought it back.
Like, why can't we just have 12-team events like 10 times a year? I don't understand.
Yeah, because like currently there's 2 LA teams. Like
I'm saying, yeah,
you don't have to have 2 separate events for 2 separate fucking LA teams.
Optic never. Chicago never got an event either. That's a big thing as well. Yeah, so
they're only in it for 1 season, though, to be fair.
Two seasons because Chicago Huntsman, Chicago Optic.
Yeah.
Optic Chicago.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Esports, with the economy not doing great currently, esports been one of the big sufferers. Especially where a lot of the income for esports was these giant fucking events. Like you look at CSGO, I'm kind of talking about CSGO a little bit because the major's going on currently. I've got to go on the screen.
Yeah.
But you look at the majors for CSGO, they were fucking huge.
Yeah.
They would have over 1 million people rock up to these events over the course of the weekend. Like they'd be 4-day weekends. They'd have almost over 1 million people rock up to these fucking events. And that was where they got a lot of their money. They also did in-game stuff. COD doesn't do any in-game stuff. Dota, as an example, their big world championship at the end of the year, the international. Everybody's heard of it. There's a fucking Aegis, there's a big shields, trophy. You know how they get their prize pool?
In-game purchases and stuff.
To a degree, yep. So they call it a battle compendium. It's basically a battle pass you can buy up to 2 to 3 months prior to the tournament. So once the tournament's out, like they've already announced where it is. It's in Seattle. Fucking Dota can go to Seattle. Why can't COD? They do it a couple of months in advance. You've got up until a week before the international is out, and you can buy it. I think it costs 25 to 30 US, which is a little bit, but they pull out these absolutely phenomenal in-game skins. Like their in-game stuff in these battle compendiums are the best, generally like looking stuff that I've seen in Dota. You get from this compendium, right? Every single dime that is purchased for the battle compendium, all that $30 goes straight into the prize pool.
Yeah, true. You have to, yeah.
That's it. Valve puts nothing into it.
Yeah, really?
They don't put a single cent into the prize pool.
Yeah, true.
And you know what? The international prize pool in the past 10 years has not been anywhere nearly matched by any other esports tournament.
Do you think it's a failure of developers or a failure of Activision to not have this support for their leagues? They're literally owned leagues.
Both.
Because I think Overwatch is fairly supported. Not money-wise, not monetarily, right? But in-game, fairly supported. I would say that it is well known that Overwatch League exists. There's a lot of team skins, and as soon as the Overwatch League started, there were team skins. Where in
Overwatch is very difficult, though. Because, take as an example, okay, MOBA's a very different breed, but in shooters, you take COD, you take CS, even Valorant's very different because it can be full. But CS, COD, you sit down, you watch it, you're like, okay, cool. I have a general gist of what's going on.
I agree. It's hard to understand from an outside sitting in.
You watch it, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And
we play
that for shit.
Yeah, we play and we don't know what the fuck's going on.
And I hit Diamond, I'm still fucking got no idea what's going on in that shit.
It's hard to get us five players to all know what the fuck's going on at all times. It's hard.
Yeah.
Where in COD you can have a lapse of concentration.
Very similar to Overwatch as
well.
Where
COD you can play as a single man, still have a good, decent team composition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as an example, the international prize pools, 2021, 38,418,000. That's prize pool,
and that's exclusively off that in-game purchases.
Oh, sorry. So they put a 1.6 mil base prize pool.
What? That's it.
That's it.
That's still nuts. That's more nuts to me, to be honest.
So contributed prize pool 38.418 mil contributed. So that's from the compendium. Total prize pool 40 mil. That's US. 2019 was 32 million contributed. 2018 was 23, 2017 was 23. This is all just contributed prize pool from the compendium itself.
Yeah.
2016 was it's gone up and up and up. Last year's was a little bit lower. It was 18.9. It was 2022. But I did hear that the compendium last year wasn't great.
Now, is Dota a franchise league?
No. That is, I think, another issue. A separate issue completely is the franchises.
I think the biggest issue with the CDL
teams is an issue.
I think that's another one, but I think it's just the 12 teams is a huge issue with the CDL right now. It doesn't feel the league doesn't feel like complete. A league. Yeah, it feels like half baked. You know what I mean? Like if we had 16 teams, I think we'd be having a different conversation right now. But
yeah, even you look the Overwatch League setup, I prefer actually more than the CDL. So they've got an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference.
Yeah.
So they've got an Eastern Conference that's based out of APAC. Then they've got the Western Conference that's based out of North America. And I think they still get 8 teams on each.
Yeah, which is nuts, man. It's 16 teams. That's enough teams, man. I don't want
for the big competitions, they bring them all together. You've got your top seed from APAC versus the bottom seed from NA. And they go
yeah, true.
That's how they do it, and I quite like that.
I don't even think the CDL needs to follow that rule, but I just think we need 16 teams to make a league. You know what I mean?
I think the best way they could have looked at it was probably more like how Valorant's done VCT. So they didn't do city-based teams; they've done organization-based teams. So, as an example, we know most of the CDL teams all have organizations by them. FaZe, Optic, Luminosity. Instead of them having teams and then having to change their names, we would know, besides looking at their jersey, that Seattle Surge is predominantly owned by Luminosity, unless you really follow esports.
Yeah, nobody would know.
Thieves, obvious. Optic and FaZe, obvious, because they've allowed it in their name.
They've made deals to get it there. The Thieves is an easy brand to bring across to an esports team and not make it 100 Thieves.
Yeah. But instead of it being Seattle Surge, you've got a franchise team, and it's Luminosity Gaming. You look at the history of Luminosity; they fucking won chips.
Yeah. That formula on their fucking team, bro.
Yeah, and you'd still possibly have teams like EG, some of the old school teams that are no longer in it. I know a lot of them looked at they're in the Valorant VCT because they're able to keep their branding. A lot of it is. They didn't want to go to the fucking city-based teams because they weren't able to keep their branding.
Which is understandable,
I think that was part of besides the 25 mil, Nadeshot said, they originally weren't going to be allowed to keep Thieves. Like the namesake, Thieves.
Yeah.
That was part of the reason why he didn't want to buy in originally. Also, the 25 mil was ridiculous, which I completely agree.
It's understandable with this post, man. They're getting all this money and they still can't keep the fucking league afloat, you know?
Yeah. I've said, for me, it needs to go back to 16 teams, maybe break it down to eight, and have like a conference, maybe East and West, similar to NBA, for instance.
I'm just saying, whoever sold this league to people, man, deserves like the most credit in the world. They literally, they can literally sell snow to an Eskimo, bro.
Yeah, or a condom to a priest.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
For me, I'd like to see them go 16 teams, whether they do go East and Western Conference for the online qualifiers, and then when it goes to the majors, maybe do it similar to the Overwatch League, where it's like top of Eastern versus bottom of Western, like that sort of thing. So it's like seeded into the opposites. But then at the end of the season, for champs, you've got your top 4 teams from challenges. You pull them up, and then your top 16 teams at champs. That's your teams in CDL next year.
Your top 4 teams.
You have relegation and promotion.
I think either the bottom 4 teams should play against the challenges teams, or the top 4 teams should automatically qualify, and then the rest of the teams have to play it out. But there should be a 16-team league regardless. So, look, I think without 16 teams, they should be bringing these challenger teams up every single season, bro. But every single major.
Last year, I thought it was the best fucking event of the year. Yeah, there was no money on the. Oh, sorry, besides champs.
Yeah.
Because it's champs, but. That program was sick. Even the program at the beginning of this year was sick.
Yeah, it was sick, yeah. I think the program at the beginning of this year was sicker because it made like more sense having the teams actually in a real major, you know what I mean? Not just a Pro-Am tournament, it was a real major.
It was off the get-go, so there hadn't gotten to the point where there was a big gap in between like CDL to challenges because of the resources that the CDL team has over the challenges. Yep. It's beginning of the year, and blank slate, you've got these challenges team that came out and did really, really well. Then they get picked up for LAG. Yeah. LAG Modern have done great since. Yeah. But they've been picked up. It showed that it worked.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
There's something about esports in this franchise league, at least for right now, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
It feels like it divides fan bases.
Yeah.
Like, I know Luminosity had a decent fan base prior to CDL.
Yeah.
But when it was CDW, granted they had formal, which definitely probably helped.
Yeah.
But I know they had a good fan base. Genji had a good fan base. Fuck, Black Ops 4 events, you'd hear the Genji fans go mad.
I hate when you say Genji, but yeah, I agree with you.
I know, I get you every time I say it. Also, I prefer saying Genji than Genji.
It's Genji. It's Genji.
It is, but I much prefer the sound of Genji. And it's not because I was a Genji man. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a Genji man.
Virgin proven on podcast. But Overwatch League is dead.
Child.
Overwatch League is so fucking dead, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good stepping stone.
I think it was a shit stepping stone, if you really want to be honest. They started that league at literally the time that Overwatch was starting to fall.
Yeah.
If they started it straight away.
Stepping stone in the way where I think if it wasn't for the Overwatch League, the CDL fails even more.
I think if we just kept the CWO, everything would have been fine, bro.
Yep.
But Activision has to have control.
I can't remember the guy that ran MLG.
Adam Apicella.
Yep, they need to just let him buy MLG back.
But this is the thing.
He can just fucking do everything.
The last thing for this podcast, what happens when the CDL falls? People aren't going to want to go back to getting paid pennies to play this fucking game anymore, man.
That's true.
It's going to be hard, man. It really is. Because especially if it falls in a bad economic time, man, we're going to have a real issue with getting the CWL started again or something along those lines, you know?
Yeah. And I'll be 100% honest. If the CDL fails and no one's there to pick it up, it poses a big problem for COD in general, I think.
Especially if, like, say, Treyarch isn't a developer on that COD after that happens. You know what I mean? What happens when it's fucking Infinity Ward making the calls again, bro? When do we even have a ranked mode? There'll be no reason. There'll be no incentive to make a ranked mode.
I don't see CDL failing at least for another couple of years.
I'll give it 3. I'll give it 3 more years at least, man.
Yeah.
We've had 4 games?
Yeah. I think the Warzone World Series will be interesting to see.
They need a fucking anti-cheat. They'll need a fucking anti-cheat, bro. They need an anti-cheat bad, bro. I'm surprised that they've capitalized on this Call of Duty League so much, and they're just letting Twitch run the World Series of Warzone shit. It's so weird to me, man. They've in-housed the Call of Duty League. They've brought it in, right? But World Series of Warzone, they're just not touching.
Twitch Rivals is always good to watch. It's always high quality.
What are you talking about?
Twitch Rivals.
Yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong, but like we have CDL teams that pay 25 mils to get into a spot in the league, right? And we're not utilizing them at all. We're not utilizing their stuff in game. We're not utilizing the CDL properly, man. So many things have gone wrong with this, man. So they haven't even given it a chance to really fucking go off, man. Honestly, they haven't given it a chance. Like, Activision is like the shame. CDL's like the shameful thing that they've got going on, man. That they made everyone pay 25 mil to be a part of.
Yeah, for me, like, you look at the most recent season, they brought out that battle pass. Was it Black something? I can't remember what it's called.
Black Cell.
It's something like that. Instead of having that as an add-on to the already battle pass you buy, like that could have been along the lines of that compendium thing where you pay that extra, that money then goes into the CDL. Like, boom, there's your champs fucking packet right there.
Yeah.
Like, look, cool, there's fucking however much we don't need to put towards it. So there's some money saved.
And like, champs would feel even more of a send off, especially for the year of the ranked, if it was a bigger prize pool. Especially crown fighter by the community. You know, you put money in, and then now you're invested. You know.
Yeah, that's it.
I think there'd be.
I'd be very interested to know the percentage of the sales from this in-game skins, because you see them running around everywhere. Like they've sold a good amount of those in-game skins.
Yeah.
I would be interested to know the percentage of how much goes to the CDL, let alone the teams. So I reckon it's 50-50. 50 goes to Activision, 50 goes, 25 then goes to CDL, 25 then goes to the team, I reckon.
Which shouldn't be the case, man.
None of it should go to Activision.
Yeah.
I'll be 100% honest. None of it should go to Activision. They've got enough money from everything they fucking do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, all of it should be going back into the league. I reckon it should be 50 for the teams, for the teams themselves, and then 50 for the actual prize pool of all the majors and what. Why not? Why not? Oh, you as the community raised this much money, so this major is actually going to be worth this much. Wow, look what we did as a community. We wasted our money, and now pro players could play for it.
Yeah, or maybe even do it where it's like you've got that as the compendium, like the Black Cell as the compendium that's wholly and solely for Worlds.
Yeah,
and then from the in-game skins, whether it is because I've just brought out the new gun skins as well. Half. Yeah, say split it 3 ways. 33 goes to the CDL, so they've got a little bit extra money as well. Like, you obviously don't want to give them absolutely fucking nothing. 33 then goes to the team. Sorry, no, you'd have to break it 4 ways. 25 CDL, 25 team, 25 for the current major. So it's been purchased in between major 2 and major 3. It then goes to the next major that's coming in. And then another 25 of it then goes to the champs as well. So there's still a bit of then funding for that major that's coming around.
Yeah.
But then you've got even more still going into champs. So if you've got everything from the entire year having a little bit of a drizzle going into champs, that champs is going to be fucking huge.
That's the thing, though, because if Activision doesn't get a cut, then they're not going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
But Activision has to take that L, bro. That's the thing.
They think realize if it's going to the CDL, then the CDL's not getting money out of their pockets, so then there's still more money in their pockets as well.
Shareholders don't think like that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I think I'm gonna leave it there, mate. I think we're done with this topic, man. Hate to see the CDL die, but I also would love to see more teams be able to have spots and all that stuff. So anyway, closing thoughts, Cookie.
A couple of teams.
Closing thoughts, Cookie.
Thieves to go 0-3.
Cookie sucks dick.
And Greyhound NG2 to make it to CS:GO LAN.
There you go.
Aussie represent.
I think this is going to be an interesting major where we're going to finally see at least one team double up if Optic doesn't take it, of course. Obviously, they're looking like the absolute favorite right now.
I always do my wild thoughts.
Yeah, you're going to say Optic's going to win?
No. One of the top 4 teams, so between FaZe, Optic, Ultra, and New York, to go out top 12 at Major 5.
All right, so Thieves are going to win the whole thing. All right. He didn't say Thieves, guys. We win.
That's true. Thieves are top 4, not New York.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the IGL podcast. We wrap this one up quick, man. Big love, guys. I love you all, and have a good day. Peace.